Hello, everyone. Welcome today. Today's an exciting day because we get to talk about the new Uber Says features that we just launched. And today, the presentation is not going to fully be about Uber Suggest and the features. Of course, we're going to discuss those as well and all the plan changes we have to Uber Suggest. We're, of course, going to give you guys some tips when it comes to the new game of SEO and how you can dominate with rankings and AI citations. So my name is Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of NP Digital. Today with me, we have Nikki and Lou. Nikki, do you want to do a quick introduction? And Lou, you can go next.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Nikki, head of SEO at NP Digital. Excited to be here today. My world lately operates within this whole realm of AI search. So excited to share some tips and tricks with you.
Awesome. My name is Luisa Moscoso. I'm Chief Product Officer for Uber Suggest and Answer the Public. And I'm really happy to share all the new stuff that we have for all of you guys today.
So at NP Digital, we're a global shop. So when we make releases to our products, we think about companies who are global or have multiple locations, or even just a location in a country that may not be as popular as the United States or India and may have a lower population, right? So when we made our changes to UberSess, keep in mind these are global changes that work in multiple languages across the world. We also have the Future of Marketing and AI Virtual Summit that's coming up. It's between September 23rd and 26th. It's free to register. You can go to npdigital.com/summit. The last day is paid if you want to attend. There's a lot of bonus stuff that we're talking about, and we're doing some deep dives on day 4. But days 1 through 3 are free. Register. Look forward to having you there. And a lot of brands are going to share what they're doing and what we're doing when it comes to AI and SEO and marketing. If you need help implementing any of the strategies that we're going to be discussing today, you can just scan that QR code with your phone and it'll take you to npdigital.com. You can fill out the information, or you could just head to npdigital.com. So with our NPD technology, whether it's UberSuggest, Answer the Public, we also have Scout, that's for internal purposes. We know Joke have over 5.4 million registered users, right? We have companies of all sizes that have registered to use our product. We can fill logos, on the screen. For some reason, the logo screen on the right looks a little bit bare, but we have countless logos, and you can see on ubersuggest.com and Answer the Public. Businesses of all sizes use the products, and the changes that we've made today make it so it's easier for whether you're a small business or a large business to do better in the world of AI SEO, specifically on ChatGPT. Steve Jobs once said years and years ago that billions and billions, up to tens of billions of dollars worth of goods and services are going to be sold on the web. A way to think about it is the ultimate direct-to-consumer distribution channel. It's become that way. His devices, like the one I'm holding in my hand, has also made that possible. And in today's world, so much money is being spent on the web, you have no choice. But there's been some shifts. It's no longer the traditional quote-unquote search engines that we see anymore. We have now adapted to a new world, and we have to adapt with it. A great example of this, if you look at how many products and services are sold over time, it's well into the trillions of dollars. 6.3 trillion a year is what was reached in 2024, and it's estimated to be around 6.8 this year. Fast forward a few more years, it should be 8, and then of course it'll climb over to 10 plus trillion dollars. One of the main ways people make sales is SEO and organic traffic. But the way you do SEO and generate organic traffic has changed. So we wanted to update our tools to be relevant and, more importantly, really affordable in today's world, because you can actually do a lot of these things and track how you're ranking on ChatGPT for free with Uber Suggest now, right? Yes, there are some paid plans because it's actually very expensive for us to do. Even the free users cost us quite a bit of money. But you'll start seeing some of these changes soon as we go through it on this webinar. And a great example of one of the changes we've talked about, you're seeing total clicks and impressions. Clicks have gone down because of AI overviews. Google has made changes on their scraping. They're trying to make it more expensive for people to scrape, like the Chat GPTs of the world. So that now when you scrape, you only get results 1 through 10, and you have to keep going. So to get the top 100 results is roughly 10x more expensive. But the reason I bring this to your attention is if you go into your search console, a lot of people are reporting that their impressions are down 50%. What does that tell you? Well, a lot of the impressions were coming from scrapers, right? So you're now getting a much more accurate sense of impressions compared to before. And your current SEO tools don't show the big picture, right? I know some SEO tools have, hey, you can track AI. Well, you can track AI, but they're charging you not only thousands of dollars for the tools a year, they're also charging you thousands more on top for the AI features, where in Uber suggests it's just standard and you can use a lot of it for free. When you think about the evolution of search, from 2000 2010, you just saw 10 blue links. Then, of course, they started introducing rich snippets, knowledge graphs. Example of this is typing in like someone's name, like Tom Cruise. You'll see information about them, their age, their height. I don't know what other stats they end up showing on these actors and what movies they've been in. You start going from 2020 to 2023, people started talking about 0 clicks. They were starting to answer more and more questions. 23 to future, start really looking at AI engines, people giving direct answers, like how fast does the cheetah run? You don't really need to click over to a website to find that out. Or what's 1 plus 1? The answer is 2. Again, it's useless to click over to a site for that, right? And they've been doing this slowly over the years, like what's the weather in Los Angeles, California? Now, today we are helping organizations adapt to this shift, and we're going to show you how you can use UberSys to track how you're doing no matter what platform people are using. And here's a great example of this in today's world. You need to check how you can rank on AI platforms like ChatGPT. You need to understand what's causing these AI engines to actually recommend you versus the competition. UberSys will actually show you now not only what prompts you're ranking for, but it'll also show you, are you mentioned? Is your competitor mentioned more than you? And of course, we're going to be releasing a lot more features over the next few weeks, which Lou will talk about as well. Now, when you think about search in today's world, there's two realities, right? One of the reality is, hey, you just search and you can get an AI overview, and you get the answer, or you get some blue links. Another reality is you do a search in AI mode or Chat GPT, and you're having a full-blown conversation. People are discovering content and answers and solutions in multiple different ways. You have no choice but to adapt your marketing to the different modes that people are using. Don't think about, oh, one is dead and the other's not, or one's a future and the other isn't. None of that matters. What matters is you show up no matter what solution your customer is using. That's the key. We haven't seen Google die down yet. I'm not saying it won't die down 5 or 10 years from now or any of that. I'm not trying to make any claims. I'm just saying it doesn't matter if you think Google's sexy or ugly or Facebook is ugly or sexy. People are using these products. Be there. If you're not, you're going to miss out on revenue. It's that simple. And when you look at the two competing realities, traditional search, 10 blue links, ranking, determine visibility, clicks are the main KPI. You start looking at the AI power search, you're getting direct answers. You want to make sure your brand is cited. People don't need to click over to a brand. Mentions are the new mind share. If you get mentioned more than your competition and they mention you in a positive way, there's also sentiment, which Lou will be talking about. I think you talk about sentiment, Lou, in this, or no?
For a bit, yes.
Yeah. And these are the realities, and you need to make sure that you're top of funnel no matter what solution people are using. And search didn't vanish, it just split. There's SEO, there's GEO, and even social has a lot of searches. People don't look at it this way, but did you know Instagram has roughly 6.5 billion searches a day? Sure, most people are searching for friends on Instagram, but they're also searching for content and products. And that's why Instagram is a huge discovery engine, right? So it's not that search is going away. It's just split. And just like you use multiple social networks, people are using multiple search engines. And we think this is going to be the default and the norm going forward. And the opportunity is in the search. It doesn't matter what country you're in. There's just a lot of traffic to be had. Nearly 2/3 of all purchase journeys now begin with the Google search. It's been that way for a long time. You can't ignore it. AI mode is actually growing very rapidly in popularity as well. So, all right. So today we are going to cover, the number of searches that are happening each day. We're at 5 billion daily searches, the attention currency, and the changing rules. When I say 5 billion searches that are happening every single day, it depends what platform you're looking at, but that's roughly, I think Google's at 13.6, the last stat. But with AI, their numbers are increasing at a rapid pace. The attention currency, it doesn't matter what platform you're using, you want to be mentioned, and the rules are changing and the algorithms are continuing to be tweaked. It also doesn't take years to rank or get results. We've been getting our clients in AI overviews sometimes within 2 days of making changes, literally 2 days, and we even have some case studies towards the end.
All right, so you heard it from Neil, right? The rules are changing. We know that SEO in 2025 is more complex than ever before. So let's take a look at this constantly evolving environment a little bit closer. So as we just discussed, right, AI is completely transforming how search engines process queries, right? How they digest all of the how users digest all of the information, about your brand online. And it's no longer just keyword matching, right? Things are a little more complex than that these days. AI is breaking down questions and almost understanding them like a human, right? So they're even digesting multimedia content now. And all of those changes really have to shift how we optimize. And answer engines are growing really fast, right? Neil just talked about this. Users love these answer engines because they're delivering what users want pretty much immediately. They don't have to sift through the 10 blue links anymore. And this is helpful for users, but for us, it means that we need new strategies, right? Because each of these answer engines is ingesting and citing content a little bit differently. And as a result, our SEO playbooks are shifting. And outside of those answer engines, don't forget about Google's AI overviews, right? These are now taking up a lot of space at the top of page 1 for primarily informational and top of funnel queries, but that is changing over time. Take this example, right? How to get a raise. If you're looking for help there, you don't have to click any links on page 1. So this is just yet another complexity in this new era of search. And without the right tool, it's harder than ever to understand your visibility everywhere and where people might encounter your brand.
And so in response to all of these changes, we have built the new AI search visibility features within Ubersuggest, which is your central dashboard to navigate and win in the new era of AI search. So what is AI search visibility? So the definition is just the share of AI answers where your brand is named, cited, or recommended by the topic or keyword and your language and location. A mention is when your brand appears in the narrative or the answer of the AI, and a citation is the URL or the source that the LLM used to get the answers for the specific question or prompt that the user asked. So the recommendation is just when the AI recommends your brand for a specific prompt or answer. How it works. So the first part is a prompt corpus. Basically, we create a funnel stage, recommend and edit some of the prompts to be fitted for your brand. Then we render them in cycles. So it's not only we ask LLMs once, but we ask multiple times in different cycles to get exact answers, mentions, citations, and recommendations. Then we analyze them. We do the brand recognition, disambiguation, citations, and we raised hallucination flags. And at the end, we make a scoring of your brand, your competitors, your mentions, and the citations. So the scoring model is pretty simple. Your visibility shared, or AI visibility, is just the number of answers where you recommended as a product or brand divided by the number of total answers analyzed. So a mentioned is how many times a brand is mentioned in an AI response. And industry rank is how you are positioning compared to your competitors for the AI generated responses. And your AI visibility is the percentage of responses where your brand appears as a response by the AI or LLM. The AI visibility tracker is helping us track brand rankings and visibility across major AI engines, starting with ChatGPT. And the competitor monitoring, it helps you compare your performance against competitors. And as you can see here, it not only tells you how you're ranking against your competitors, but it goes very specifically into each of the prompts and tells you how each competitor is ranking among each of the prompts that you have for your brand. So you will be able to see how each competitor is doing in each of the prompts over time. So with Ubersuggest, you'll be able to track AI visibility, but by monitoring your AI appearances, meaning tracking when your brand or products are mentioned during AI answers, also competitor analysis. So not only giving you when your brand is being mentioned, but also when your competitors are being mentioned. And also it keeps you track of volatility trends. So you'll be able to see when your content begins to lose AI visibility and allows you to update before you lose a significant traffic. Also within Ubersuggest, we have updated our keyword ideas to include more SERP features. So you'll not only be able to do more AI, but also you'll cover a lot more of the SERP features and how within Google, your keywords and your brand is ranking among the different SERP features. Also, we are working at the moment on keyword prompt analysis. What this means is similar to keyword research, you can add a keyword and then we analyze and bring the most important prompts for that specific keyword. So you're not only understanding how your brand is being prompted, but how the main keywords that you are interested on are being prompted in LLMs.
And this will go in our keyword overview report, right? This feature
Yes.
here gets released in less than 30 days or so. I think it goes into testing on our end when in 2 weeks, end of this month, right, Lou?
Yes, by the end of this month.
Yeah, so that means you guys will see it sometime in early to mid-October.
Definitely. And within this feature, again, it's going to be on our keyword overview. You can also see the brands mentioned, the top sources, and also the intent for both, like traditional search and also AI. Also, you'll be able to see citations. So it's not only seeing if you're ranking or if your competitor are ranking, but also how is the LLM getting this information? What is this citation? What is the source for this LLM? What are the sources that are preferred by LLMs? So you'll be able to deeply analyze and understand what are the top sources that LLMs are using to mention specific brands. So our prompt strategy framework, we standardize prompts by intent, so the scores reflect the market reality and provide consistent measurements. And we also want to provide optimization tips. So we will give you actionable recommendations and tips to improve in your AI visibility. So the three pillars of AI search dominance is first, C, so be able to gain visibility in AI engines. monitor how you're doing, starting with ChatGPT, but expanding into other platforms, being able to track the citation sources and answers that AI is giving to users, and then identifying some content gaps and opportunities, then predict and get the volatility alerts, early signs of AI shifting in the recommendations, shifting in the citations, and how those could impact your traffic, and identify the most important and competitive prompts. And last, win with the answers, trying to create citation-worthy content, optimize content for AI readability, and target mentions on authoritative sources. So the AI search visibility suite that we're building at Ubersuggest is targeted to AI mentions. So for you to understand and track where your brands has been mentioned, AI recommendations to give you some recommendations and monitor AI actively, and then AI citations to measure what AI is using as a content trusted source and what is recommending at the moment. So this basically is for you to stop guessing what AI is doing and start seeing exactly how AI is recommending your brand and your competitors' brands.
So your new reality, hopefully you're figuring out, right? It's really got to account for both SEO and AI search, because you don't want to be part of that 73% stat that you see on the screen, right? Of brands that are struggling to figure out how to measure and improve their presence on AI search. So now we're going to walk you through your new SEO playbook that accounts for the growing, AI search stuff that we're talking through. And we wanted to share to start out that similar to SEO, right? It's not a set it and forget it with AI search. It's a feedback loop, right? You have to create high quality content, implement schema, distribute it, right? You don't just create content, you have to figure out how to promote and distribute it. And then you need to track your visibility in citations and then constantly adapt based on the results and the performance that you're seeing. And Ubersuggest now closes that loop for you by giving you all the data and insights that you need to kind of continuously test and refine your strategy so that you can stay visible both in traditional SEO and in AI search. And to be cited in AI answers, technical SEO absolutely matters. I will say schema's impact on AI search is pretty heavily debated in the SEO and AI search community. There's a lot of talk out there about whether it's a direct ranking factor for AI search or whether it's just, correlation. But what I'll say, right, is that we know that AI search learns from the web, right? Retrieval augmented generation, which is a big buzzword in AI search. You can think of that as researching and Googling. That's what these AI platforms do, right? So schema is still so helpful in the context of ranking on Google. We know it can improve click-through rates. Improved click-through rates help you become more visible. And when you're more visible in SEO, you're more visible in AI search. So I highly recommend maximizing schema because it helps with your brand authority. And think about things like an LLMs.txt file. This is new in the AI search space. It's kind of something that you would publish along your robots.txt. How similar to robots.txt gives Google very explicit instructions, and LLMs.txt does that for AI search. And like I said, right, AI learns from the web. So this is why the content that you're publishing is so important. You want to think about user-generated content, getting things like expert quotes, both in your content, but also having your experts associated with your brand quoted in other content, and syndicating your case studies. So the more positive mentions across credible platforms that you have, the more likely that AI is to incorporate your brand into its answers. And distribution, it's not just about traffic, right? It's really about being able to have a voice and train those AI models. So let's look at some use cases across different sectors to make AI visibility work for you. Now, when it comes to e-commerce, if you want to win on e-com queries, say, for example, best running shoes of 2025, I recommend that you, yes, like we just talked about, implement schema, right? Product schema has always helped, with visibility or click-through rates in Google. And then you want to track AI mentions for comparison queries, right? Best running shoes versus best, cross-training shoes, stuff like that. And if you're not visible for some of those comparison queries or different long tail keywords, make sure you fill those content gaps. One outdoor gear brand did this and they doubled their conversions while they were improving their traditional rankings all at the same time. And then on the B2B side, visibility in both informational and comparison queries is absolutely critical. One tech client corrected inaccurate AI mentions using our framework, and they grew their leads by 34% in just 1 month, which is wild. And the playbook is honestly simple, right? You have to monitor competitor citations, create research-backed content that's marked up with structured data, syndicate expert quotes like I talked about, right? And then connect your visibility to real pipeline growth. And then when it comes to marketing managers really need to connect AI visibility directly to their business KPIs, right? That means monitoring brand and competitor citations, again, creating that research-driven content that AI engines love to pick up and cite, and tying it all back to CRM data. So it's really about proving ROI to justify budgets in a world where ranking alone doesn't really tell the full picture, right? And we know budgets are getting tighter. So you really have to hone in on that ROI story. And then for service-based businesses, local prompts are, of course, a gold mine. So queries, think about like the best dentist near me or a plumber in San Diego. These are increasingly being answered directly by AI. So in order to win, you are going to have a local optimized content strategy, right? This is also true on the SEO side. And it's really important to think about creating like trust building FAQs and really leaning into that FAQ snippet style content. And then also think about creating content for things like service A compared to service B. Those are going to be instrumental to make sure that your brand is getting mentioned in those high intent, ready to convert moments. And then agencies, right? Agencies can use AI visibility data to win new business, to upsell current clients. And if you want to retain your current clients, then you have to be showing your clients this type of data and insights. I have had more C-suite executives in the past 6 to 12 months wanting to hear a POV from our agency, because this is what everyone's talking about right now. And executives and stakeholders are looking to their agencies to make sure that they've got their eye on the ball, that they're staying ahead of all these changes in search. So yeah, this is more important than ever for SEO agencies as a retention and new business play. And then for freelancers and entrepreneurs, you can actually now compete with bigger players using this affordable AI visibility data. I've seen from some of our clients that where they were struggling to compete in traditional SEO, the playing field has actually been a little bit leveled for some of those brands in AI search. And that might be for a number of reasons, right? Maybe they've got better offsite mentions about their brand, right? SEO historically has been about what you say about your brand on your own website. AI search is about what other people are saying about you. And if your brand has a really good reputation and people are speaking favorably about you, you might have a better opportunity to compete in AI search. And at 40 to 90% less than other tools out there, I mean, Neil said it earlier, right? People are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on these AI search tools. But with Ubersuggest, you can really get these enterprise level insights, which is incredible.
And it's like 1/10 the cost. Some is free.
So as we were just talking, that we are building an enterprise level insights without the enterprise price, right? So the tools that measure AI visibility were only accessible to the largest companies with the biggest budgets, because we were talking about like thousands of dollars for this AI visibility, right? So in Uber Suggest, we're building this tools, making it 40 to 90% more affordable than the alternatives. And we're doing it because we believe that every business deserves the ability to compete in the market. So your current SEO tools don't show the big picture, meaning they don't show the AI citations, they're not showing the complete AI brand visibility and sentiment, competitor visibility, and then prompt optimization opportunities. So coming soon, and I've seen some of your questions about this, in our AI search visibility dashboard, which is the one that we just launched, you are going to be able to edit the prompts during setup. So we are initially giving you some prompts based on the popularity of these prompts based on the information that you'll give us. So you'll probably give us your URL, your brand, location, language, and a topic or main keyword. Based on that, we use this information to understand how people are searching for this type of topics and brands in LLMs, specifically ChatGPT, and we suggest some prompts. You'll be able to see the prompts and edit those prompts. You will also be able to add a city. Right now, we are allowing location by country, but we've talked to some of you, some of our users, and you also want to have a much more localized option. So we will also are working to allow users to add a city. To add more competitors. Again, similarly to prompts, we use the information that you give us at setup, and we bring the competitors that are showing for the specific prompts. But some of you have mentioned that want to see and want to add very specific competitors. So you'll be able to manually add your competitors and the competitors that you want to track within AI. You will be able to add your own prompts.
And Lou, do you know when you're going to end up releasing most of these features?
Most of these features are going to be released in the next 2 weeks.
Got it. How about for the editing prompts?
For the editing prompts, by next week, so by next Tuesday, we'll be able to have that.
Cool. So you'll start seeing a lot of these features rolling out within 2 weeks, but we'll do gradual releases starting with next Tuesday.
We will also be able to add multiple topics. So at the moment, when you set up your brand on Uber Suggest, you have one keyword topic. The idea is that you'll be able to add multiple keywords or topics to ensure
So sorry to interject here, Lou.
Go ahead.
What Lou means is when you're looking at your AI visibility in Uber Suggest, it asks you for a few fields. It asks you for a URL, so we know your own website. It asks you for your brand name. So right now, if I put in, let's call it ubersuggest.com as a URL. If I put in Uber Suggest, actually, we'll use our ad agency, NP Digital. So if I do npdigital.com, and then I put in the brand name NP Digital, and then I believe our system looks for variations of our brand name as well, correct, Lou?
Yes.
So in case someone misspells it or doesn't put a space, etc. And then it'll say what country are you targeting, or you know eventually we'll add in a city, which Lou talked about if you're a local business. And then from there it suggests an industry you're in because we're crawling your site. So for or for NP Digital, it usually selects like digital marketing or digital marketing agency. When she's talking about different topics, you may be a digital marketing agency, but you could say, you know what, we make a lot of our revenue from SEO. So let's also add in the topic of like SEO agency. You know what? We also do franchise marketing because at Uber, NP Digital, we actually help a lot of companies that are franchises with multiple locations. So maybe we want to put in franchise marketing agency. These are examples of different topics. So then it helps the system come up with multiple prompts. That's what she means by multiple topics to track.
Thank you very much, Neil. And if you have any questions in regards to which keywords or topics to add, you can also let us know. And basically, it's like the main job to be done or the main products that you're offering so that you can see how you're doing compared to other brands. Also, you'll be able to compare different locations. So not only you'll be able to add cities, but also see how your different keywords or topics will do in different locations, so in different cities. So Los Angeles versus San Francisco versus Houston, and you'll be able to see how each of them are ranking differently, and maybe have different competitors for different locations, and also filter brands in the dashboard. So you'll be able to not only see how your brand is doing, but also filter by each of the different brands and competitors and see how they're ranking and what are the prompts that they are ranking better in. Also, you'll be able to add, and we will be adding more AI platforms. So right now we have ChatGPT, but we'll have Gemini and Perplexity, as well as other AI search engines coming soon.
And then with these features, when do we expect the releases?
With these features, it will take a little bit more, so it'll be about a month.
Got it. So within 30 days, all this stuff will be added.
Yes.
All right, so let's summarize your new SEO playbook, right? It all starts with what we're discussing here, monitoring your AI visibility, having a finger on the pulse of how visible you are. And then you need to compare that to your competitors, right? Which brands are getting cited. And that allows you to do some competitive analysis that can fuel your content roadmap. And then, it's kind of a cycle from there, right? You want to optimize, measure what impacts your visibility, and continue on with that cycle. All right, so we've gone through a lot, right? We're going to cover a little bit more of what you should do now. If it hasn't been clear, let me say it again, right? The risks of ignoring AI search are huge, and they're threefold. So first, diminishing visibility as more users shift to AI answers, especially those younger generations that are often starting their search journey on ChatGPT, your SEO wins may lose a little bit of relevance. Second, competitive disadvantage, right? AI might misrepresent your brand or amplify, negative content if you're not monitoring it. And those forward-thinking, competitors that you have are probably already optimizing. So if you're not doing this, you're gonna fall behind. Now, a common objection might be, oh, well, we already have, traditional SEO tools, right? These traditional SEO tools really lack the right types of tracking for AI search, right? So we know that Ubersuggest tracks AI answers, and it's a whole new dimension of visibility that we're getting into. And without this, you're going to be blind to how your brand is being represented in what's being called, the fastest growing discovery channel. Like, you don't want to miss that boat. And then another objection is, okay, well, isn't AI changing too fast to even measure? Like, that's why these volatility alerts that Luisa and team have worked so hard on are going to be critical. So Ubersuggest is going to flag these shifts before they can have too detrimental of an impact on your traffic and your conversion. So you don't have to chase every single change, right? You just have to respond to the ones that are really moving the needle. And then I've heard other people say, okay, if I start getting into this, am I going to be gaming the system? Is all these GEO tactics are really black hat? You don't have to worry about that, right? The approaches that we've talked about today are similar to how we've talked about winning on Google, right? You want to create quality content. You want to mark your content up with schema and structured data. You want to get legitimate citations about your brand. And all of these are aligned with search engine optimization best practices already. This isn't just about manipulation, or it's not about manipulation, right? It's really about growing your branded authority and credibility within your space.
You're on mute, Lou.
So what is coming next in Ubersuggest roadmap? And this is a little bit more long-term. So we are going to have deeper insights from news sources, as Neil and Leaky been telling us. It's not only about traditional SEO or AI engines, but it's also about all the types of searches that people are doing online. So the idea is to bring not only the AI engines, but all other types of searches that people are doing online. Also, advanced prompt optimization to get even more granular control over how AI sees and recommends your brand. And then predictive visibility and trend spotting. In this specific one, we want to see and recommend you guys the trends and topics that are rising, not only again on AI engines or on traditional SEO, but everywhere. So as Neil was mentioned, what is happening also in social searches and AI and Instagram and Facebook, in TikTok. So the idea here is to bring trends and topics feature that allows you to understand more than just the traditional SEO and the AI engines, but also like what is happening and what are the main trends and the main topics being talked to or being like hot at the moment, so that you can start putting your money in creating content and trying to get into those specific trends and topics.
And before we go, one thing that we didn't mention is we'll also start adding sentiment analysis. We're working on that with Answer the Public, so you'll see a new version of Answer the Public that rolls out mid-October. And then once we build the sentiment analysis, there we'll end up eventually rolling it out to Ubersuggest as well. We've had some amazing case studies when it comes to SEO and even leveraging GEO. Refi Jet, we did an amazing job. We helped them capture leads from ChatGPT. I won't bore you with the case study, but we're finalists in OMA for the best SEO campaign for Refi Jet. We'll find out if we win or not, hopefully within the next few weeks. So we're excited about that. And when you think about these AI machines out there, these LLMs, keep in mind they have memory, right? They know what's happened in the past, they know your history. Try to fix things, try to continually get the citations, improve over time, because all this will do is just help you grow and do better in the future. And one of the big things that we can't emphasize enough is brand mentions. You guys got to focus on digital PR more. We do this very heavily for our clients at NP Digital. Digital PR is an amazing way to do better in these LLMs. Some key takeaways. You want to focus on quality over quantity. A lot of people, when they're creating content, they're just cranking out quantity because it's even easier than ever because of AI. If you have first-party data, integrate that within your content. It makes it even more valuable. Make sure you focus on your brand reputation. It matters more than ever, including reviews and ratings and what people are saying about you. You want to make sure your data is structured and easy to understand. We like saying in this world, you write content for humans, you structure your content though for AI. And there's new metrics that requires new tools, and this is why we released Ubersuggest's AI SERP tracking and monitoring and visibility reports. We'll continually add more features over the next, technically we'll continually do it in the long run, but over the next 30 to 60 days, you'll start seeing many more reports, including in roughly 30 days, you'll see a whole new keyword overview report, which will integrate traditional search and AI search in one report so you can do all your keyword research in one go. And you can do it yourself. If you haven't checked it out, go to ubersuggest.com, put in your information, and run a visibility report on your brand so you can see how you stack up against your competitors. And again, in the future, we'll release sentiment. So not only will you see how you stack up against your competitors, in the future, you'll see, are they talked about more positively than you or more negatively? And this will give you ideas on what you need to fix. And of course, for being on this webinar, we're running promos. You can scan the QR code. You can get a trial. If you have an Ubersuggest lifetime account, you can use the AI features. It's an add-on. It is much cheaper than the monthly report. The lifetime is you pay once for all the traditional SEO stuff, and then the AI add-ons you can just add on for a monthly fee, which is lower than the monthly fee. So you can take either option You can scan the QR code, you can sign up, or you can just test it out. We have quite a bit of stuff that you can do for free. And then if you want more usage, you can end up paying for it. But I believe, Lou, you can continually use the AA visibility for one site, one project, certain amount of prompts on a weekly or monthly basis for free. Correct, Lou?
Yes.
And if you want us to just do it for you, you can book a strategy call with anyone on our team, including Nikki here. And you can do this by just going to npdigital.com or just scan that QR code and you'll be taken to npdigital.com. And as I mentioned, we have a virtual summit coming up on the future of marketing and AI from September 23rd to the 26th. You can go to npdigital.com/summit or just scan that QR code with your phone. All right, Colin, let's get into some questions.
Q&A. All right, we've got two here that we received prior to the webinar, and then I've got several that we'll dive into. We've got about 12 minutes, so decent amount of time. So question, how long does it take? And I think we maybe threw out an answer to this in the presentation. How long does it take for newly optimized content to have an impact on citations and visibility on ChatGPT and AI overviews specifically? Nikki, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Neil said it throughout the webinar. We have seen clients implement things like snippet style content, FAQs, and on-page content optimizations that has resulted in improved visibility in 24 to 48 hours, right? Which is incredible. I think something to remember about AI search is these platforms really value freshness. So if you want to see sustained results, like I said in the presentation, just like with SEO, AI search is not set it and forget it. You're going to have to kind of continuously be updating your outdated content, retiring old content. But things can move quickly for authoritative brands. I would also say that depending on how much groundwork you have to do with SEO, don't think about this, truly changing your business overnight. You might get quick wins here and there with being able to implement structured style content, snippet style content to move the needle. But similar to SEO, to really make that lasting impact, you probably want to be working on things for at least a couple months.
Awesome. Thank you for that. An old acronym, quality deserves freshness. I remember that in SEO world. So another one, and we actually had a similar question through YouTube as we were going through the deck. How will you know if the questions you put in are relevant to your audience or have any sort of volume behind that? So Nikki, probably another question for you, but two people asked that, like, in SEO land, we've had search volume to kind of help us determine, the queries or the keywords that we want to go after. We don't really have that yet, right? So what do you think here?
I think there's a couple ways to think about it. I've been using Answer the Public since I started in SEO, right? That data is so incredibly powerful, and using data like the data you can get in Answer the Public for long tail question-based queries, that's a great place to start. But don't forget that you can also hop into your own Google Search Console and look for long tail queries in there. What are actual people who are already coming to your website searching? And if you don't already know about the regex that you can do, just ask ChatGPT for a little bit of help, right? These AI tools are great at things like regex. You can use regex to pull, multi-word queries from your GSC. Say, hey, I want to surface queries that are at least 7 or 8 words long. You can also use regex to go into your search console and filter by anything that signifies a question, anything that has will, can, do, should. There's no better way than pulling from your own GSC data for that.
Yeah, and a lot of websites have search functionality as well, right? So like another source, if you have a search feature on your website, like maybe you'll get some good information there. So Louisa, a question for
And
you.
really quick, Colin, also on our end, when we're giving you prompt suggestions, we're looking at topics. So it's not just about a prompt. See, with traditional SEO, you optimize for a keyword, okay? With AI, if someone types in the best digital marketing agency, I'm making this up, okay? And then they talk about the best agency, what's the best agency to market online? AI understands digital marketing agency is very similar to online marketing. It's pretty much the same thing. And they'll start showcasing similar results. So in the AI world, you can't just look at keywords. You want to look at topics and volume for a topic and how popular that industry is and optimize for all things around it. You don't have to focus on every single prompt or every single keyword. If you start doing well for some, a lot of similar ones, you'll start showing up. And that's what we help you with on Uber Suggest. And we're on our end pulling what we think is relevant and then showing from there. So then that way you're tracking what's important, but you don't need to track each and every single one. You'll start showing up for similar prompts all the time, assuming you're doing a decent job on optimizing for that topic.
Yeah, thanks for adding that, Neil. And Nikki mentioned ATP as well, like great visuals with keyword trees and keyword wheels and all sorts of good stuff. So we did have a question about integrations. Are there going to be, or are there currently any CRM analytics or like marketing automation integrations on the roadmap?
We just have a team that is going to be working on that, on integrations and extensions for users to be able to integrate with different CRMs, analytic tools, etc. So it's not on on our near future, like 1-2 months, but it's definitely there. And if you have any suggestions on what will be the main integrations that you want to see, please let us know.
Yeah, lots of Shopify fans in the comments. So there's maybe a thought.
It'll be
So
there
Nikki,
in the next 3 months, I would say, next quarter for sure.
awesome. Nikki, Geo gets thrown out a lot, and there were several folks asking what that acronym actually stands for. So if you could answer that, and then just quickly, what's the difference between Geo and SEO?
Super common question. So GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. And that's really the practice of optimizing for these Gen AI platforms, right? If you're optimizing to get visibility on ChatGPT, that is GEO. There are some really key differences between GEO and SEO, things that are really only relevant to think about if you're optimizing for these generative platforms. Those are things like, for example, you have to put the information that you want LLMs to cite in your HTML, right? It needs to load without JavaScript. That's because these AI tools, they're not as robust and as smart as Google has been able to develop their crawlers over the years. We know Google has worked through JavaScript for a while now, but that's a key difference. There's also things like an LLMs.txt file, which I know a lot of people are like, well, are these AI search engines even using them? There is evidence out there showing that some of these LLMs.txt files are being hit. I want to say one study found like every 15 minutes, right? Those are GEO specific tips. On the reverse, for the most part, good SEO is good GEO. So while there are differences, a lot of the fundamentals that help you rank on traditional search engines like Google will also help you garner visibility when it comes to GEO.
Awesome. Great response. Thank you for that, Nikki. Louisa, will Uber Suggest help you discover why you aren't being cited by AI and what steps might need to happen to actually get greater visibility? I think Uber Suggest does a really good job of sort of like not only saying like, you don't have visibility for certain things, do this, that, or the other thing. Can you maybe talk a bit about roadmap items that would help to do that?
Yes, definitely. So we will have recommendations coming in. So the idea is to recommend you guys in case there is no visibility. And the other things you can do in the meantime is just understanding what are the competitors that are showing. So you will see like all the competitors, you will see the prompts, as Neil was explaining, like the most popular prompts that are being asked by LLMs at the moment. So you will see what people are asking at the end. You will also be able to click on those, see the answers that LLMs are actually giving users, and see the citations. So you will be able to also understand the sources and where are LLMs bringing that information from, and what other brands is actually citing or actually talking about. So what you can do there is basically either go to the source and try to be cited as well in those sources, or have or make some content that can also compete and be recognized by LLMs, so that they can also start including your content or your blog into the answers for the specific prompts that are being asked by users on LLMs.
Amazing. So Nikki, I feel like we get this question a lot, but schema is always mentioned throughout presentations, or certainly they have been the last several months. Can you please explain what schema is, why it's beneficial? And there were a couple of folks asking, like, are there tools out there to like analyze schema on particular pages? If you could give your thoughts there, that would be great.
Sure. So schema is structured data that you add to your website that helps search engines understand more of the content on your website. So you could almost think about it like it's code, but you could think of it kind of like a set of labels or a tag to your content that gives Google signals about what's there, right? So for example, without schema, a page about one of your products might just look like text and images to Google. And with that schema, you're kind of telling Google, this is the product's name, this is the product's price, this is the way it's rated, here is the product's availability. So it's just some structured data that you add to your pages in order to give more signals to Google and make, Google has to crawl billions and billions of pages across the web. Giving schema to Google helps it understand your content better. Google does have a tool that you can leverage to test your current implementation of schema. If you're looking for the best opportunities to add schema to a given page, honestly, I think your best bet is to leverage ChatGPT. Other platforms out there like SEMrush and Ahrefs, you can kind of audit your schema and stuff like that. But going to ChatGPT, plugging in a specific page and saying, hey, what are my structured data opportunities for this page would be a great way to identify opportunities for yourself.
Amazing. And schema.org is another one that people spend a decent amount of time on. That's it. We're at the top of the hour.
Appreciate it, everyone. Go check out the new UberSUS features. And if you want to work with us, head to npdigital.com. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.